So a couple of days ago, Qwen just went ahead and launched their latest AI-powered CLI called as Qwen Code. And today in this video, I'll show you how you can set it up and start using Qwen Code CLI along with the latest Qwen 3 Coder AI model and ByteRover. And as a bonus tip, I'll also show you a method through which you can get a free API key for the Qwen 3 Coder AI model, which means that you'll be able to use Qwen 3 completely for free as well. So stick around for that. So I've been working on a project on Cursor AI and I have one more feature to include into that particular project. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and open that project in Qwen CLI or Qwen Code and I'll walk you through the entire workflow and let's see how it goes. Since I've been working on this project on Cursor, opening it up on the first time on Qwen Code means it won't have any context about the project. But that's not a problem because I've been using ByteRover on Cursor to store all the project context, all other details and past conversations. So as soon as I add ByteRover to Qwen Code, it will instantly gain access to all the memories that I had within Cursor. So that shouldn't be much of a problem. Anyways, let me quickly jump onto my computer screen and show you the entire setup in action. So this right here is the official GitHub repo of Qwen Code. And now if you want to install and set it up on your computer, the first thing that you're going to do is to click the link in the description below and head over to GitHub, that is the Qwen Code GitHub repo. And once you're on the page, the first thing that you have to make sure is that you have Node.js version 20 or higher installed. So which I believe you already have. If not, just open this link and download and install it on your computer. And now setting up Qwen Code is pretty simple and can be done in less than 2 minutes. So the first thing is that after installing Node, or let's say once you have Node set up on your computer, you just have to run this installation command right here. So what I'll do is I'll copy this one and it says npm install and then global. Then we have @Qwen Code /Qwen Code. And now what you have to do is just simply open terminal and then you have to type that command, like paste it and hit enter. And now that should go ahead and install Qwen Code on your computer. So let's wait for it. So there you go, that part is done. And next up, if you want to make sure that Qwen is installed correctly, or let's say set up correctly, you can simply run this command right here. That is Qwen -- version. And if you hit enter, it should show the version. And as you can see, it says 0.01 alpha 10. So you can find that here. So this means that Qwen Code or the CLI is now officially installed on a computer. And the next step is obviously configuring the Qwen 3 Coder API. So as you can see in the GitHub repo, you can find a section called as API configuration. And all you gotta do is to add all these environment variables and you should be pretty much sorted. So what you have to do is you have to go ahead and copy all of this. Obviously, we will change the API key, base URL and the model name. So first thing first, go ahead and copy all of this. And maybe I'll quickly go ahead and let's say open a Google Docs. And now here I'll paste the same. And the first thing that you got to grab is your OpenAI API key. So it says OpenAI API key in here, but under the hood, we need to get a API key for the Qwen 3 Coder AI model. So what you have to do is click the link in the description below and head over to openrouter.ai. So this is basically a platform that allows you to use a variety of different AI models from different providers. So you can get a API key and select the model of choice and start using it right away. And now the interesting part is that Qwen 3 Coder AI model is now available on OpenRouter. So you just go ahead and sign up for a new account. And if I head over to this model section right here, as you can see, here we have the Qwen 3 Coder model, and this is the one that we are going to use today. And as you can see, it says $0.3 per million input tokens and $1.2 per million output tokens. So Qwen 3 Coder is significantly cheaper when compared with Claude 4 Sonnet or similar models like paid models. But the thing is that you can also use this Qwen 3 Coder model for free. So if I head back, they also have a free version. So this right here is Qwen 3 Coder. And as you can see, it says free. And if I open it up, it says $0 per million input token and $0 per million output tokens. So that means you can officially use this Qwen 3 Coder AI model right within Qwen CLI or Qwen Code without having to pay for anything. But the thing is that it will be a bit slow, so you'll have to deal with that. But in this case, I'm actually going to use, let's say, Qwen 3 Coder, but the process and the steps are pretty much the same. And now next up, you head over to this API tab right here and click on this button called as create an API key. Click on create API key and let's say give it a name, let's say Qwen 2. I'll click on create. And now here is our API key. So I'll copy the same, head back and paste it in this OpenAI API section like this. Okay, so that part is done. And next up, we need to get the OpenAI base URL. So in this case, the base URL is going to be, let me see, I'll head back, go to the API tab. And if I scroll down, this right here is our base URL. So I'll copy the same. So this right here is the base URL of OpenRouter. And now I'll replace the same in here, just like that. Oops. Okay. And next up, the OpenAI model. So if I head back, the model name in this case is Qwen /Qwen 3 Coder. So what I'll do is I'll simply copy the same, head back and paste the same in here. Okay. And just like that, we have set up all the environment variables that we need. And next up, I'll just simply copy it, open terminal, paste the same and hit enter. And we have successfully set all the environment variables that we need. And if you run this Qwen command and hit enter, it should now open Qwen code. So let's wait for it. And there you go. It says you're running Qwen code in your home directory, which is something that you shouldn't do. But any which ways, we now have Qwen Code CLI set up and running on a computer right now. And the next step is that we open Qwen code within a project that I want to make some edits to. So let me quickly go ahead and open it up. So here I have opened up the project that I've been working on. And basically it is a voice transcription app. And this right here is the demo of the app. So you click on this button right here. And whenever you speak something, everything that you speak will automatically get converted to text. And the same will get displayed on the screen like this. So basically this is the core functionality of the app. And now the thing is that I actually developed this app right within Cursor. And next up, I'm actually going to use Qwen code or the Qwen CLI. And the problem here is that when I go ahead and open this project in Qwen does not really know much about, anything about this project. The project architecture, the structure, what are the code, what are my personal preferences, the past conversations I had, and pretty much everything. Like Qwen will have zero clue. And that is the reason why we are going to use ByteRover. So this right here is the official website of ByteRover. And as you can see, it says ByteRover is a self-improving memory layer for your AI coding agents that can store, retrieve, and share AI coding memories across AI IDs, projects, and teams. So in this case, for this voice transcription app, I built the entire product from the ground up using Cursor. So for the past couple of days, I've been working on this project in Cursor. And now I'm about to open the same in Qwen. And when I open this project in Qwen will have zero knowledge about this project, the architecture, the structure, what are the features that are planned to implement, my personal preferences. It will have zero clue about that. But the good news here is that I've been actually using ByteRover within Cursor. So if I open Cursor settings and go to tools and integrations, as you can see, I've been using ByteRover right here. So pretty much everything, including my preferences, the past conversations that I had with the AI, the project structure, architecture, and pretty much everything is actually stored within a memory space within ByteRover. So if you want to, let's say, switch a project from an IDE to another one, but you don't want to lose anything like any context or any preferences as such, the best option would be to use ByteRover. And again, I have created a dedicated video explaining all about ByteRover. And if you want to watch that, I'll make sure to leave a link to that in the I button above. So if you want to try it out, just go ahead and click the first link in the description below and head over to byterover.dev, and you can just go ahead and sign up for an account. In my case, I'll simply log into the same. And when you create an account for the first time, you'll be prompted to create an organization. So here I have already created one, and I'll open up the same. And now if I go to the memory section right here, as you can see, all of these are things that I did on my project within Cursor. Okay. And the cool thing is that all the things, all the interactions, pretty much all the conversations that I had with the AI agent in Cursor is actually getting stored into this memory space in ByteRover, like a centralized place. And whenever I connect ByteRover to, let's say, a different coding tool, like for example, Qwen code in this case, Qwen code will instantly get access to all these memories, and then Qwen code can continue from where I left off in Cursor. So that is the cool thing. And now adding the same to Qwen is pretty simple. So in this case, I'll click on this option called as Quick Start, and it will first ask you to choose the agent that you want to use. So in this case, I'm planning to use Qwen code. So I'll click on this option right here, Qwen code. And the good news is that you can actually use ByteRover in Cursor, Cloud Code, Gemini CLI, Kilo Code, Tray 2.0 Cloud. You can use ByteRover in all of these platforms. So in this case, I'll select Qwen code. And now configuring the ByteRover extension, or let's say ByteRover in Qwen, is pretty simple. You just open this settings.json file and then copy paste this content, and you're pretty much sorted. So what I'll do is I'll simply copy the same, and now I'll move to my user directory. And here I should find a folder called as .qwen. Okay. And if you can't find that, you can simply press Shift, Command, and dot, or let's say the period symbol, and you should see all these hidden folders. So I'll open the same, and there you go. Here we have the settings.json file. And now what I'll do is I'll simply open Cursor and open this JSON file. And all I got to do is to copy this MCP server section, like this part right here. I'll copy the same and paste it in here. Okay. And I'll save the file. And that's it. That's all that I got to do. And now when I open this particular project within Qwen, it will know pretty much everything about my project. So I'll go ahead and let's say open terminal. So if you want to, you can actually run Qwen right within this terminal instance. Or if you want to take it to the next level, if you want to, let's say, get the best of both worlds and use Cursor and Qwen on the same project, you can even open the same right within Cursor as well. So what I'll do is I'll open a new terminal instance and put it in here. And now I can simply type Qwen and I'll hit enter. So there you go, we have opened up Qwen. And now if I type /mcp and hit enter, as you can see, ByteRover MCP is configured in Qwen and it is up and live. And now the thing is that I want to add a new feature to this voice transcription app. And as I mentioned earlier, the feature that I want to add is audio recording functionality where users can record an audio and download the file in MP3 format. So what I'll do is I'll open Qwen. And now all you gotta do is to explain exactly what you want to do in this input box right here. And before that, as ByteRover MCP is already configured and let's say all the memories within this workspace is stored, just as to show you an example, simply say, could you please let me know what feature should we implement next immediately? And I also mentioned look at ByteRover memory. And now I'll hit enter and see this. And now it is asking us the permission to run the ByteRover MCP server. So I'll click on allow. And now the AI agent will go through the memories that we have within our memories workspace and it will pull the relevant data and it will show the same to us. And as you can see, it says audio recorder with download functionality. Users can click a record button, speak into the microphone and then click stop to end recording. Upon stopping, users should be able to download the recorded audio file. So this is the feature that I want to implement next. And I had actually planned to implement this feature right within Cursor, but I'm able to access the same even from Qwen. So that is the whole point that I'm trying to make. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and tell the AI that I want to implement this feature into this project. So I'll simply say, please add a /record page to our project with the audio recorder functionality where users can record and download the audio in MP3 format. Okay, and now it already has the context from this MCP tool call that it did. And now I'll hit enter and let's wait for it. Now basically I want Qwen to implement a new feature in our app that lets people to sort of record audio. Okay, so they press a button and they speak whatever they want to and they can download the MP3 file, and that is the feature that we want to implement next. So let's wait for it. And now ByteRover also have an open source version called a Cypher. So if you want to use that instead, you have options for that too. And if you want to, all you gotta do is to click this link right here or head over to this GitHub repo page right here. I'll make sure to leave link to that. So if you want to try it out, you can actually connect this Cypher, the open source version of ByteRover, and add the same to your AI ID and get going as well. And they have all this installation guide and everything else in this page. So if you prefer to use the open source version, you have options for that too. But I prefer using ByteRover. In which case, let's wait for it first. Okay, so it says now I have good understanding of the project structure. So let me create the audio recorder page with the ability to record and download audio in MP3 format. And it says first I'll create a new directory and the page for the recorder. Okay, sounds good. For some weird reasons, Qwen was actually bugging out a lot. So in the instance that I opened within Cursor, it just kept repeating the same thing over and over again. And I waited for like 5-6 minutes and still it wasn't able to create the page.tsx file. So what I did is I opened up a dedicated terminal instance and I just opened up Qwen and asked it to create the page again. And this time around, it was able to do it in less than 1 minute. The thing that I've noticed is that Qwen sometimes run into errors. I'm not sure if it's the problem of the Qwen code itself or it's the problem of the API provider that we are using. So in this case, Open Router. In which case, right now it says it has created the page.tsx file. And now I'll click on yes, allow once. And now it will write all the content to our project. And it seems like that part is done. So if I open our Cursor project and if I open the record directory, here we have the page. And now it's time for us to check the functionality. So I'll simply head over to /record page and I'll hit enter. Okay, so this is the page it has created. Okay, anyways, I'll click on the start recording option. Hi there, so this right here is a sample voice that I'm recording. Okay, I can find our audio player. Hi there, so this right here is a sample voice that I'm recording. So it works, and if I click on this download recording, I get the option to download it in a WAV form, not MP3. And now the biggest thing that I've noticed is that the styling of the page is not consistent, right? Here we have a really cool looking design. I actually developed this app that is the initial version of VoiceFlow using Claude for Sonnet right within Cursor. Next up, what I'll do is I'll ask Qwen to match the styling of the recorder page to match the styling of the main page. So that is basically what I want to do. So I'll go ahead and say the styling of the recorder page does not match the styling of the rest of the website. could you please apply the same styling for the recorder page and also include a link to the recorder page in the navbar in the home page as well. So this is the prompt I'll give, and I'll hit enter and let's wait for it. Hopefully it goes through. So one important thing that I've noticed is that Qwen is not 100% reliable, right? So I don't know if it's the problem with the API provider or Qwen itself. So as you saw, maybe I can just open it up real quick. Okay, there you go. It just kept repeating the same thing over and over again. And I also visited the credit section, right, the API usage section right within OpenRouter, and it was actually consuming the tokens. So in this case, as you can see, there were around 700,000 input tokens and around 15,000 output tokens. So it was consuming the tokens, but even then it is not sort of outputting or let's say creating the file. So that's a weird issue. I don't know what caused that. In which ways, here we have asked Qwen to sort of match the styling of our website. So basically I want the recorder page to have the same styling as our main website. So let's see. All right, so it has referred to a couple of pages like layout.tsx, page.tsx, globals.css, and okay, the current page.tsx as well. And it says now I'll update the audio recorder page to match the styling of the rest of the website and add a link to the navigation. First, let me update the main navigation page to include the link to the recorder. Okay, let's see. Okay, yes, allow once. So it basically added a link to the navigation bar. So let me see. So there you go. The link is now added. Now the next thing that I want to see is if it is able to match the styling of our rest of the website. So let's see. So there you go. This right here is the updated design of our audio recorder page, and this looks several folds better is what I would say. In which case I'll click on this button right here and let's see if it is actually functional. So this right here is a sample voice that I'm recording right now, and we have that nice pulsating effect and everything else in there. So this right here is okay, it works. And I clicked on this download button and pretty much everything is working. So we asked the AI to include a link to the recorder page in the navbar, and here we have it. And this right here is the UI, and that part is also done. So basically this is how you use Qwen. And when compared with Claude 4 Sonnet with let's say the Claude Code setup, Qwen with Qwen 3 coder model is several folds cheaper is what I would say. And now there will be like a lot of AI coding tools popping up every other day. And if you want to switch and let's say work on the same project but in a different IDE, the best option would be to use ByteRover. And now as I have already connected, let's say ByteRover, I'll go ahead and ask what is my language preference and let's say database preference. And I actually stored that. I had already communicated all my preferences and everything else with Cursor a couple of days ago. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and ask, what is my language and database preference? Look at ByteRover memory. And let's see. Qwen does not really know anything about my language preference or my database preference, but I'm explicitly asking Qwen to look at our ByteRover memory. So let's see. Okay, so it is asking us the permission to use the MCP tool. I'll hit enter and let's see. So let's see. Okay, there you go. It has got it. So it says users development preferences, our primary programming language is TypeScript and the preferred database is PostgreSQL. So it is indeed working. And now this is the huge upside of using ByteRover. So for example, let's say you're working as a huge team and you have multiple people working in the same project, and all of them will be using, let's say, a different IDE. A few might be using Claude Code, a few might be using Cursor, some of them might be trying out Qwen. So in that case, having a place to store all the memories and preferences and everything else in a standardized place like ByteRover makes it extremely simple. So it means that even if a person makes a change and store the same changes to this memory, workspace here, or let's say someone else has used a different AI coding tool, everything will be logged in the centralized place and everyone will have access to the same. So even if you make a switch and use a different AI coding tool or use a different AI model, you can still access this memory. And the best part is that along the way, all the communications, all the preferences that you save will get logged to this memory section here as well. Okay, so the bottom line is that this is how you use Qwen Coder. So basically you just head over to this GitHub repo right here and you just install Qwen, and after that you set all these environment variables, you grab your API key from OpenRouter, configure it, and you just run the Qwen command and you should have Qwen Coder up and running on your computer. And now as you can see, it is several fold cheaper when compared with Claude Code or any other flagship models. So that is one of the biggest USP. And on top of that, they also have a free version that you can access for free as well without having to pay anything. So yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to show you in this video. And now the interesting thing is that there will be like a lot of CLIs popping up. So if you want to try it out but do not want to lose any context or preferences, you can also try to use ByteRover. And they also have an open source version called a Cypher that you can configure and use as well. So yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to show you in this video. And if you ask me about the performance of Qwen Coder, it is kind of okay is what I would say. It bugs out at times and it keeps repeating the same message over and over again, and it will get stuck in a loop at times, but I'll have to manually stop the request and give a new request to get going. So yeah, that is something that the team might work on and fix in the future update. That's pretty much all I wanted to show you in this video. I hope you guys found this video useful. If yes, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.